Hello everyone, I'm Brandon Grady, and the title of my creative project is Moroccan Argan oil production. The inspiration for this project stems from the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences Leadership Institute that I'm a part of. Over this past summer, I took a 12-day trip to Morocco to learn more about the agricultural and also the economic reasons why Morocco is still struggling and is still a developing country. On this photo right here, we went to a cooperative for rugs. It's where a bunch of Berber traditional people, which Berber is for the free people of Morocco, they all come together, provide their rugs in one spot for somebody to sell them to people like me or people across in other villages. In this photo, it's me and another classmate of I. We are in the traditional Berber attire, and we wore that headpiece when we were on the camels, which is the photo on the far side. We took a camel trek into the Sahara Desert where we spent the night underneath the stars. And then the photo right there is I'm on a donkey, and that was also a cooperative where we went to a village, ate lunch, and then when that lunch was over, they told us we could either walk to the swimming hole or we could take donkeys, so we definitely chose the donkey route. Morocco. A little bit about Morocco. It's in the northwest tip of Africa. The population is a little bit over 35 million people, and the per capita income is almost $9,000 per person, with a GDP of $315 billion. As I said earlier, Morocco is a developing country, and they're still struggling to keep up with bigger demands for infrastructure and housing. Agriculture in Morocco. There's 24.5 million acres that are used for agriculture. There's 43% that's used for cereals production, so that means like wheat, grains, and oats. 7% is used for citrus, and then 42% is left as fallow land. Also, in Morocco, there's mostly small farms that are 12 acres instead of big corporate farms due to the amount of money that's required for these big farms, including equipment. There's a lot of cooperatives that really help the small farmers really work together. They all buy their equipment together, and then they all have time that they can use that equipment. The cooperatives are a really good idea for them because it's very hard for all of them to be able to afford the things that farmers in the United States or maybe a very developed country have already. Cooperatives are able to find buyers for these farmers, so they can just be in the farms working on their product. Also, irrigation is a very big deal in Morocco because people that own land don't necessarily own the water that has access to that land. You have to own both, and they both get sold separately. And so how irrigation works on the bottom photos, water comes from like mountains, and it goes down into a stream where farmers create dams and create other streams that go off into their farms. And so you have a certain day that you are allowed to have water, and so you lift the dam and you water your field for that day, and then you close it so somebody further down the line of the stream can water their farm just a little bit like the next day or next week or something. But if you break that rule, if you break the stream, if you let water into yours you're not supposed to, then you could lose the water rights to that land, and then you're not going to produce much anything. And then the other photos, the photos right here are a tour that we took of a cooperative. The cooperative that we went to was a cooperative for milk, vegetables, fruit, and also orange juice production. We also saw a lot of meat production as well, and they have a very different, a little bit less rules over there for meat production. And then the top is a farmer's market that we attended. Alright, so now we'll talk about the Argan tree. The Argan tree is only grown in Morocco due to the environment that it is found in. It can survive very well in desert climates, and this isn't a very good climate that can be found anywhere else. You can't just uproot the Argan tree and bring it somewhere else at all. It can live up to 250 years, and it takes 50 years for an Argan tree to actually start producing the Argan nut that's required for it. The photos on the bottom are one of the key components to the Argan oil process. You see the goats are in the trees, and the goats are on the ground going into the trees. The nuts grow on the trees, and while they're coming down, the goats grab the nuts. They eat the nuts on the outside, the hard shell, and then also sometimes they might eat the argan seed itself. But the farmers go through the poop, grab the little argan seeds out so that they can then proceed to the next process. It's a very interesting thing that we just stopped on the side of the road to look at. The picture on the right is the one that I took. It was very different from what I expected this to be. I did not expect people to be following goats around, just picking up poop, making sure to see if they have argan seeds in them.
The silk oil of Morocco story begins in the arid southwest region of Morocco, where the Argan tree grows wild. The tree itself is now so rare, it comes under the protection of UNESCO. Its fruit, containing the argan nut, is protein and nutrient rich. It's a favourite of the local goats, who love the rich fruit so much, they're often seen actually up in the argan trees feasting. The Berber women of the region work in fair trade collectives, harvesting and processing the argan by hand. They proudly carry on the centuries-old tradition and bring in valuable income for themselves and their communities. They collect the unspoiled fruit from around the argan trees, remove the fleshy pulp to reveal the argan nut. One by one, using the traditional method, they crack each nut open to reveal the argan kernel inside. With a trained eye, they hand-sort the kernels to select only the best. Importantly, the argan nuts are cold-pressed by hand to release their precious oil. Many traditional nut oils are boiled, but that can destroy valuable nutrients. So it's the organic growing, the hand selection, and the cold pressing that make silk oil of Morocco one of the rarest oils in the world.
Alright, so the argan oil production, as I said, the goats are a very key component. Also, the argan oil process, it's traditionally Berber women, which Berbers, the free people of Morocco. It's a traditionally women business, and so they see them on the right side of the picture right there. That's what the nuts look like. They take these shells and just mash the nuts to make it into kind of like a slimy paste. There's also a very no-waste process for this. And so what they do with the outer shells is they make it into animal feed for either the goats so they can keep producing, keep grabbing the argan nuts off the trees, or for other animals. The source of income for argan oil is, there's a source of income for 2 to 3 million Moroccans, and also it's a $6.5 million business in Morocco. The uses of the argan oil, mostly for culinary. People use it for dips for bread, or you spread it over couscous, which is almost like rice over there. When we went to the Argan cooperative, that's my picture right there, they showed us how they actually took the argan nut and broke it down and created it into that paste that you saw. And then they even had us taste it. They had oil so we could dip bread into it, and it was actually very tasty, and it's also a different variety as well. Also, the other uses are for cosmetic reasons like hair, skin, and anti-aging. The Western culture has picked up on Moroccan argan oil, and you'll see it more incorporated into anti-aging creams, into shampoos, conditioners, things like that. People will rub it on them. It smells nice. It's just so that they get it from Morocco and bring it over to the United States and sell it. While I was in Morocco, I grabbed an argan oil, natural oil that you spray. You can spray it into your hair. I just grabbed it. I was supposed to give it to my sisters, but I forgot. But this is what it looks like. It's just this yellow substance. It smells really good. Also, for the future of argan oil, the Moroccan government is planning on planting 494,000 acres, or 494,000 argan trees by the year 2025. This is because back in the 70s and 80s, people were cutting down the argan trees because they didn't see any use of it because it wasn't popular in the Western culture. They were just selling it within Morocco or surrounding countries. Now, people actually see a use for it, so they're not cutting down the trees for wood, for deforestation, trying for planting, nothing like that. So they're trying to actually incorporate argan trees back into their environment so that they have this for many years to come. And as I mentioned earlier, it takes 50 years for an argan tree to actually start producing the argan fruit. And so it takes a while for this business to start get up and running. Also, there's a lot more women-only cooperatives. This is so that women have an opportunity to have an income. They say roughly they get $108 a month, and that's just money that can go into their families. They can use it for anything that they would like.